Hey Dad, you've been a funeral director now for 40 years. Do budget packages help people wanting to keep funeral costs down?
Certainly they do, but there are always catches. First, what is a budget package? Well, it is a package where a funeral home has selected what they think you might want, requirements for certain types of funerals. So there's different packages, and it's to give clear parameters to family to navigate that funeral, knowing that there could be add-ons later, but being careful about those add-ons. Keep costs from blowing out. The right package, for instance, has to be the right package. A lot of people will go to a budget service or a normal funeral home and look at those packages, and they'll do things like they will look at the cheapest one and go, that's what I want. But what they really want is a different type of funeral. They might not want an unattended funeral. They might want a funeral where they can see mum, spend some time with her, gather as a family, and then go up to the crematorium and just do something private. And what can happen is people will, if they choose the cheapest package, then they go, oh, we just want to add on this, and we just want to add on that. Well, that can end up double or tripling the price. Whereas if you just choose the right package from the beginning, you might find the second package up is only 50% more. But you can end up, as I say, spending a lot more when you start add-ons with packages. So packages are great if you read them carefully. On our packages on our website, we're careful to try and show the things it doesn't include. We had a good example of this just this week. A gentleman rang up and said, how can you charge $400 just for putting a newspaper notice in? And we said, no, you wanted us to put this newspaper notice in. It hasn't gone in yet. This is the estimate of cost from the paper, including our discount. We've not charged anything for putting that notice in. The charge for that is in the actual package deal. You'll see that if you want to put a funeral notice in, there is the charge of that notice, and that's what it's going to cost. So think about that carefully. So our packages, we've really looked at quite carefully and said we have three. You could really call it four, but one is an unattended cremation, and that is what it says. You don't attend. So if the family are not attending anything, that uses different staff and a different amount of time, as opposed to our second package, which we call a private goodbye, where people might want to spend a little bit of time with the deceased. They don't want a funeral, they don't even want a gathering, but maybe just mum and the children, or someone very close wants to just spend a bit of time, maybe close the casket with us and follow up to the crematorium, stand around the casket while they place a flower and leave. That is not the same as not attending. It is quite different. There's a third package we call an informal farewell. That's where we have a gathering of people, but it's not a formal service led by a minister or a celebrant. Family might just want to lead it themselves. They might want to arrange their own flowers. They might want to still carry the casket, so it's a different sort of casket. They might want to read, play music. They want to use all our facilities. So we're in the chapel, we're seated, we're using the AV and the sound and streaming, but it's still very informal. So we can keep that package at a minimum. There's not printed service sheets or catering or anything like that. Now we use that same informal farewell package for what we used to call a church supported package. So in other words, if you're a church member and you're going to have the funeral in the church like they used to in the old days, where the church ladies did the catering and the lady in the office printed the service sheets and the sound and AV guys was a mate from church, all that sort of stuff, we don't have to charge, we don't have to outsource for it. So therefore our fees can be less. So you can save a lot of money by choosing those packages well. So if you want a package deal, certainly you can save money. So be careful what package you choose. You can also do a back to front funeral, and I'll talk about that in the next video.